Battleline podcast, very special. Special. I'll keep that in there just to show that I'm a dumbass sometimes. Very special guest coming on for this episode, Chris Dutch Moyer, who we've been meaning to have on for a while, and it's just the way things turn out sometimes. I don't know why we're 100-something episodes in and we're finally getting him on, but we are. We recorded it. It was a great discussion. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. Before we get to that, I'm recording this in advance. We're recording this in advance. So this might be the very last few days you could do this, if it even is still up. And that's the Copper Ticket, which is a contest for Fort Scott Munitions. Fort Scott manufactures patented match-grade ammunition from solid copper and brass-spun SCS SBS rod that is designed to tumble upon impact. TUI, it leaves devastating wound channels and soft tissue for faster bleed out and swift incapacitation. In a climate with increasing demand for tactical readiness, Fort Scott Munitions is expanding to deliver unmatched results to the tactical training industry. FSM Training offers live fire ranges, modular simulation ranges, 120 silos for rappelling, and facilities for scenario-based training. In partnership with Battleline Tactical, FSM's training's grand opening is launching on May 6th and 7th via an exclusive Copper Ticket event. The Copper Ticket is an all-inclusive 2-day carbine and pistol course, close to $4,000 worth of FSM TUI ammo, lodging, food, and travel, all included. Bunch of co-sponsors coming there, guys like Hank Strange, Tactical Shit, Guns Out TV, Jesse Fenley, ton of people. But yeah, this is a contest where you can't really pay to get in. You would have to receive one of those Copper Tickets. And the way that you do that is simply by buying ammo at fortscottmunitions.com. The link is right there in the description. And I think if it's not already over, these are the last few days to do it. So get on it. I will be there. I'm excited for it, man. I'm excited to train with you and see what you do best.
We'll have fun. It'll be a great time out there. And I believe there's still one still left out there. I don't think it was it Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I don't think the Russians faked a ticket. And that's not saying because of Russians going on right now. That has to do with the actual movie Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I just want to point that out. But I believe there's still one ticket left out there. So go get your cases of Fort.
But will it be out there when this goes up?
It might be. Well, it may be out there. It's out there as we record this. So sure. If you find it before you listen to it, before this episode actually comes out, congratulations. You'll see my face on a video congratulating you. But if not, get those cases of Fort Scott Munitions and you'll find that Copper Ticket and you're going to have fun. We'll have a great time out there. It's going to be a blast. It'll be an experience.
Yeah. And regardless, you could use our promo code Battleline at fortscottmunitions.com and you're going to get 15% off their excellent merchandise and all their other great stuff. All right. With that, we're going to get right into this. Chris Dutch Moyer.
From Omaha, Nebraska to New York City, from planet Earth to extraterrestrial life in space, a podcast with no equal, engaged in unconventional warfare through your speakers and headphones. This is a show about embracing the suck, conquering your demons, and finding God in the face of adversity. Chris Tonto Peranto.
Twitch is on. Motherfucker, I'm going to shoot you in the face.
Ian Scotto.
Ian and I have been dating for a long time.
You are now tuned into the Battleline Podcast.
The switch is on. Battleline podcast on with us. Very special guest, longtime friend of Chris, guy that I got to meet at SHOT Show pretty briefly. That we've been really meaning to have on probably since the origin of this podcast. And sometimes it's hard to get everybody on. And we're
glad kept ducking us, dude. Chris. He's like, "Fuck you guys."
No, I haven't been in touch. It's Chris Dutch Moyer, Army Ranger, JSOC operator, served in the unit. We always talk about that.
What do we say?
Tactical instructor with DCM Consulting. And what were you going to say? Let's get right into it.
Yeah, okay. So what we're talking about, we're talking about what should we say? What is the proper thing to say when you have a guy from the unit come on? When you have a D-boy come on? I don't want to say them all. Can I say them all? No, just go ahead. Go ahead. You do.
It's your show. You can
but you are the special VIP guest. So I'm the.
Oh, it's so special. So thanks for having me. Let's start there.
It's our honor,
thanks
brother.
So much for having me. And Chris and I, we go way back.
We go. That we do have somebody that is tied. That we have a common. Back in '95 when I first went to basic training, I didn't know this. Andy Phipps and I were in basic training. He's still one of my best friends. And I know he's like, he's like, I go, do you know Dutch Moyer? He goes, fuck yeah, I know, because Andy's still a police sergeant in Des Moines. I just talked to him a couple weeks ago. We still talk.
Nice.
And
I didn't know that.
Andy, Andy was a blade. He's the only he could run his fuck eyes. The one guy I couldn't beat in the 2 mile. And I was fast. That dude was a fucking gazelle. But I don't know. It's just I didn't know we even had that connection from back in the 90s. He's like, yeah, I was, because I don't know if you were privates or you were a team leader when he came in or vice versa. But I mean, that was a long time ago, dude. I mean, we're dating.
Yeah, I was just slightly ahead of him, 93.
So, and he came in 95. But I thought that was pretty cool. It's like, fuck yeah. All right. Well, Andy knows.
No.
So
that's super cool. So your show.
Yes.
You say what you want. I tell everyone what I ask everyone, and not everyone knows it, but pretty much everybody does. I say, hey, what's the first rule of Fight Club?
Don't talk about Fight Club.
And that's pretty much where I sit right there. Now there have been some dudes that have said some things that probably may have been over exaggerated. There's other guys that don't say anything. There's other guys that let everyone else assume. So everybody out there can assume. Can you hear that dog?
But it's good. It's your dog, dude. Come on, you're in Fight Club. You got to have dogs around Fight Club. That's just how it works.
So it's not my. Well, no, it doesn't matter. It's not my dog.
Is it whose dog?
My dog would be different, but my dog, you would have to obey that sign.
Actually, I would. That was true. Yeah, what's the deal? You would have your dog disciplined right now. That dog is not disciplined at all.
So if it was if I was remotely away from the animal, I would zap it with an electric collar. Or if it was a problem, it would have a collar on it already that says "Do not bark."
It works, man.
Apparently, it's doing what it's doing.
Dogs will be dogs. What can we do? This is the beauty of podcasts and the realism of not being in an actual studio. Which I actually
I think it'll probably quit.
Well, okay. Somebody just stepped on it. Did you hear it? Hey, Ian, are you gonna be okay? I don't mind it, but Ian.
Oh, I don't care at all.
Yeah.
The only time I've ever had a dog in studio actually was Mike Ritland would bring his dog in studio, but that dog was very well behaved because it's Mike Ritland. So,
well, hopefully, hopefully they'll shut the.
No, I think it adds to, like you said, the realism of what we do.
It's like, what are you in a kennel, bro?
And just to everybody let everybody know, to get a visual of Dutch's area, he's got a cool ass radio. That is awesome. Is that real? Is that a remake? Is that
That's a real deal.
Oh.
That's a real deal. So when I was doing nothing as a young man, I used to collect radios.
Wow.
And that's much louder than before. I used to collect radios, and I have had a couple stand-ups. I have that 1920s right there.
Wow.
I have a 50s Bakelite. I have some other stuff like that. So it's
holy crap.
Yeah, it was my thing.
How much are those things worth now? Damn.
I have no idea. But you see, there's a right there, right at the top.
Yeah.
I was moving one time, and something went through the fabric. So.
Oh shit, dude.
But it does work though. Yeah, it's all AM. It does work. So.
I tell guys that serve, and especially guys in special operations community. Ian knows this. I'll tell people, we are an eclectic bunch. Everybody thinks that we just like guns and stuff. It's like no, guys love antiques. I love architecture, dude. I will literally walk around old places just to see the architect. I love ornate old school architecture. But anyway,
have you been and I know your career has spanned you has
a little bit
pushed you across the globe. Have you been to Beirut?
Yeah, I've never been to Beirut. I didn't get to go to Lebanon. That's one place I was not lucky enough to get to. I wish I would have.
Yeah, when you talk about ancient architecture there, there's a river that comes down. It's north of the embassy area. It's called River of the Dog, Nar al Kab.
Okay.
And there's a it's not always wet, obviously, because it's Beirut, but it spills right into the Mediterranean there. And there is aqueducts.
Wow.
Still standing. I mean, there's aqueducts all over the place there. There's all kind of temples and whatnot.
Wow.
This is fantastic pieces of architecture that have been, there for thousands of years.
People
really cool.
need to see that. I mean, until you can't see it anymore. That's what I really feel bad for Afghanistan, as far as most people will never get to see just the raw beauty of that country. I mean, it's savage, man. I call it the savage beauty. It is. It's just gorgeous of just even a normal fucking building and the way they do it. It's with the mud huts, with building 4 stories. They don't have scaffolding. They're putting little pieces of trees to stand. It's like, how the shit are they doing? But it's amazing to me. It's just.
And Chris, speaking of architectural beauty, where are you in a hotel?
No, this is where the magic happens, dude. This is my bedroom right here. So this is it, right?
Were you a minimalist? There's nothing on the wall. There's nothing.
I have my.
Yeah, there's nothing at all, and he's been in there longer than I've been
Probably
here.
Probably a big mirror.
I've been trying to get the big sex mirror in here, and my wife keeps telling me no. I just can't. She won't let me put it anywhere.
We're actually we're on the verge of getting like the video happening and all that. So yeah, I've been saying the same.
I will move.
I'm getting most stuff up there.
That
like in the wild behind me, we're gonna have like a Battleline like that. So yeah, we're video's gonna be happening.
I have my old man massage chair right there. That's what I get in after.
Looked like a rucksack from
it. Did it just like, but that thing is money well spent to keep this old ass body still out there able to run. But I'm glad you noticed my minimalist room. All I need is a bed and a massage chair. Got some weights over here in the corner you can't see, but that's it. I'm good to go. In fact, I'm sitting on. This is what I do. My thing. I sit. It's a weight bench. I'm just prop it up. So. But I will eventually talk my wife into getting a sex mirror somewhere on the wall. I want it on that wall over there, but it's not. I don't know if she's ever going to go for it.
All right, that's enough.
I want to record our love. That's just, she won't let me do it. It's just unbelievable.
That's because you know what happens when people record stuff, it stays out there forever.
Yeah, that's it. My wife's smarter than I am. Of course she is. But anyway, hey, guys, just so you know, Dutch, long career in the Army. I should say the military, but yes, the Army. Yeah, brother, tell them, just so people that don't know you, people in the community know who the fuck you are. I mean, it's and you're out there, and if you're an instructor, people know who you are because you are, in my opinion, one of the top instructors out there that still does the dynamic training that I believe needs, not just the static shit. You get guys out there moving, which, as you know, before you even start shooting, you're going to move, and then you start shooting. It has nothing to do with you static.
No, I appreciate
so, but yeah,
appreciate that. Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah,
but
the movement piece is funny. I just did a post the other day. Dutch Chris Moyer actual is our IG page. I just did a post on the mind-body connection, and you have to be able to, it's part of the whole psychological piece. So you have to. So I tell all these people, right? If you're going to strap a gun on, whether it's a rifle or a pistol, I don't care what it is. But you're going to strap something on, you immediately become a gunfighter. Yep. Somewhere, what are you looking for? You're looking to defend or you're looking to attack? It doesn't matter, but you become a gunfighter. Now, so many law enforcement officers don't believe they're gunfighters as soon as they put their kit on. So many support folks don't know that they're gunfighters. It's not just for the 11 Bravos. Yep. It's just not for the 18 series guys. And long story short, you got to have the psychological piece that I will survive. I will win. I am going to, compete in this world we call, in this little battlefield we call life, and I'm going to win. And then that belongs to the mind-body connections too, especially when you get into physical fitness training and blah, 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 blah. And I really want to choke the life out of that little animal right now. It's funny. You may not be able to hear it as much as I do right now, and I hope it doesn't translate. But
it actually is going. It fits great, but it's also keep going back to, because I think it adds a little bit more humor to the show. And obviously, I'm not humorous, and Ian, he's dry as hell. Ian's the funny guy of the bunch here, not me. But it's all right. It's actually work. I know it's bugging the shit out of you, but it's not. It's fantastic. It's not coming across.
I'll be able to ignore it here in a second. You asked about my career. For those of you who don't know, I am Dutch Chris Moyer. Dutch was the nickname that's been blasted onto me quite some time ago when I was in Panama by my platoon sergeant, and it sticks. 31 years in the United States Army, 26 in Special Operations Command. Before that, I was an armored crewman back when I was fighting the Russian horde at the Fulda Gap. way back in the day because I joined the Army back in 1981.
Did you really?
Yes.
I didn't know
yes,
that.
yeah,
What?
81.
So,
yeah. So
how the fuck? And you didn't end up to battalion for 12 years later? 12. When did you get first?
yeah. So
Wow.
I was
Holy
on
fuck.
recruitment.
Yeah. Dude, I didn't know that. Tell me the story. I had no idea. You don't look a day over 77, dude. You look beautiful.
Right? So you guys, people out there doing a quick math, 57, I'll be 58 in September.
Holy shit.
So September 11th is a funny thing because that's my birthday.
Wow.
Wow.
Which all this comes back into this. I think it all comes back into the same.
Sure.
And long story short, 81, joined the Army. My first days in the Army were 82. So I graduated high school in 82. 2 weeks later, I was in basic training in Fort Knox, Kentucky.
Wow.
I did the arm recruitment thing, the M60A1 and M60A3 series tanks back in the day.
Shit. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the Americans' mission then was, it was a peacetime army, but America's mission then was the Fulda Gap. It was really to stop the Russian horde from invading into the Western Europe. So that's what we did. And I liked that stuff, right? I was a big fan of lightning warfare, blitzkrieg, stuff like that. And I studied Patton and Rommel when I was a kid. I did my term papers on those guys as a high schooler. And I joined the Army, did what I wanted to do, and then realized that the Army in the 80s was a lot of the organizations were leaderless.
Okay.
They really were. They were bad. And I was 21 years old when I got out of the Army the first time, and I realized that there was no leaders here, and I wanted to just bail. I couldn't stand these kids. I got out.
Okay.
Stayed affiliated with National Guard units, so I went straight to the 19th Special Forces Group out of Camp Dawson, West Virginia.
Yeah.
I also did a stint here in Pennsylvania as a armor crewman at a National Guard thing too. I thought this was stupid. I wanted to be SF guy, so I went to Camp Dawson. I thought I could be an SF guy. They lost all my paperwork. I rejoined the Army later, and they said I was going to be a mechanized guy. I said I don't want to be mechanized. During the basic training process, which is really funny to me, I figured I'd have to go through the whole thing, the whole basic AIT, the whole deal. So here I find myself in Fort Benning as an infantryman, but I saw on a piece of paper that I was going to be 11 Mike, and I'm like, hey, everybody, anybody who's listening, I already done this before. I've already been a mechanized guy. I don't want to be a mechanized guy. Any chance we can change this? So one of the more senior dudes said, well, obviously you're more mature than these other cats and blah, blah, blah. So come down below. I went downstairs in the 30th AG, changed my contract immediately.
Wow.
And got a Ranger contract, and then straight to AIT Airborne RIP.
Yeah, at the time.
Back then.
I remember.
And then made my way to first bat. So there I was.
So they didn't make you go through basic training again? Those fuckers made me go through.
Oh yeah.
Made me go through it again.
The real funny part was all that. Yeah, so I'm in the basic training element, and we're going through. What they tell me said, look, we have some of your paperwork, but we lost other pieces of your paperwork, so you don't have basic rifle marksmanship. And essentially, what I was going to do is I was just going to transfer over from a 19 series to 11 series.
Okay.
So most of the time, all you have to do is go to AIT again.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, you just transfer. Well, so they had no basic rifle marksmanship training, so I had to go through a basic training portion.
Sure.
Which was honestly very funny to me. They called me the specialist. There was no other specialist in there. And I was 26, 27 years old. And I knew all about drill and ceremony that they needed to know. And I would go out and train them in DNC. I was on the advanced PT teams, blah, blah, blah. And then at nighttime, the one drill sergeant would say, you got to check your locker. We'd turn around and you grab your lock, check your lockers, and then he'd say, prepare to mount, the bed, check your lockers, and this went on, right? And then you'd jump into bed, and they'd say, lights out, and go. When the lights are out, I'd go into the bathroom and do flutter kicks, push-ups, stuff like that. And then during the day, I would help out the other kids, but one of the drill sergeants hated me. He really did. He despised me. Another drill sergeant saw that I was a soldier and said, you're good. Just go ahead and work out, do your thing, and long story short, it was quite an adventure. Finally got rid of the basic rifle marksmanship part and then went to AIT. So I switched over to a whole other organization there at Fort Benning.
Yeah.
I don't know what the starships were. What are those called? Training brigades.
They are all the different battalions. And yeah, you went through and they actually still had AIT, and they hadn't been the OSET training yet, right? Where you stayed at the same spot. And
I think those guys stay there. Yeah.
Okay.
But I got into a AIT group, and there was like 13 of us then.
Okay.
So then that made it much easier.
That going through basic, because I had to do that whole damn thing again. They fucking suckered me, man. But it is different because you going back and I remember that being the same thing. The drill sergeants actually turned shit over to me because I'd already been at battalion when I got, I shouldn't say booted out, but I got asked to leave the Army because of the shit I did. During to who my wife was cheating, but never mind. Anyway,
is that a whole nother story?
It's a whole nother story. It's you can read The Ranger Way, guys. That's my selfless promotion for the read the book. You can find out what it is. But anyway, going back into again, it was like, dude, drill sergeant's just making me do everything. It's like, fuck, guys. But the good thing is when AIT did hit, because I had to do they let me have the nights off. That was what was beautiful. It was like,
I'm going to tell this dog to shut up.
Yeah, I think you should just go choke this shit. Choke it out. Go choke it out.
So, I mean, if there's a break in here,
you can
edit this thing later?
Wait, are we going to get, sorry, ASPC, I'm not just kidding. I love animals. I love dogs.
This little dog, but
he's just doing what dogs do, being a pain in the ass.
I need to hit the mute button and then go over and say, shut up.
Whatever you got to do.
But are you in a?
Do you think that'll work?
It'll work fine. But did you find now? This is because going through twice, I did see a difference in how difficult basic. The first time I went through 95. To me, that was what I thought basic training was. The first day I was there, the drill sergeant smacked the living crap out of it in New York.
Yeah, man.
The second time I went through, which was mine was just 4 years later, it was softer. It was. I mean, it was.
It was much longer than 4 years later.
Yeah. And did you? Yeah. So what did you see? Was there a difference? Because I do think it's getting easier and easier and easier because of political correctness, because of everybody gets a trophy, even in the infantry stands. Yeah. What did you see, man? Because I'm sure yours was in the 80s. I can't even imagine. I'd like to know some stories. Do you have a good story from the 80s too?
I got a lot of stories. So 82 was Fort Knox, Kentucky. Almost every one of the drill sergeants was a Vietnam vet.
Holy shit. That's some meanness coming at you. Oh my God.
Staff Sergeant Merrill was 20. He was Hawaii. What's that?
25th. 20. I think that's 25th.
Yeah, I was right.
25th light.
Yeah, it's 25th. I had a second ACR guy, Sergeant First Class O'Reilly. A guy named Forrestel was 101st Airborne.
Wow.
And who knows? Maybe he fought on Hamburger
Hill.
Might have. I don't even know.
Wow. Vietnam 101st.
Yeah. And so it was a funny thing, though. First Sergeant Peterson was a Vietnam guy. And yes, fire guard was a thing, right? Because you could smoke in the barracks. You could smoke in the barracks. You can't smoke anymore. Well, I don't even know when they even stopped that, but you can't. Years ago, right? I mean, that was years ago. That's like dinosaur shit. And there were butt cans in the barracks. You could smoke and throw that's why you had fire guard. You had to, if you didn't make your bed properly, it was going out the window. And then you're running down there to go retrieve it.
Wow.
And O'Reilly, he was the way I remember it, right? He was the senior drill instructor, senior drill sergeant, and he would stand by the CQ desk, and you would have to range walk almost everywhere he went. They didn't want you to run. I'm not understanding. I don't really get that, but it doesn't matter. It's just a discipline thing.
I remember that.
And if he perceived that you were running, he would punch people right in the solar plexus, and they would just lay there, and you would have to walk over top of them to get into formation, right? And it was some really good stuff, man. I mean, I first hated it. I couldn't stand it. Here I'm a kid. I told the drill sergeants I wanted to quit. I'm leaving. And then later on, I loved it. I became a platoon guide, sang the songs, walked the men back and forth to wherever we went, and it was.
I think it is necessary. The 95s, I'm glad I went through. They weren't punching anybody. That first day there, that kid from New York City that smarted off to our senior drill, and he was a former first bat guy, tabbed out, and Drill Sergeant Charles was his name. I just remember a blink of an eye, he came around the desk, and it was a full-on linebacker, Lawrence Taylor, and that kid went, and I didn't think that shit happened anymore. And I'm sitting there because I'm one of the senior guys. I'm an older guy. I'm 26 at the time when I went through, and don't think my eyes didn't just, holy fuck, did that just happen? And the kid was actually on what they call profile because he had a hit pointer. Where he landed, he hit another desk and he had a hit pointer. But believe me, I was P's and Q's, and you're right. At the beginning, I was like, what the fuck did I sign up for? But towards the end of it,
Yep.
I was a platoon guy as well. I was singing the songs. I loved it. And I'm still think those are, to me, those Drill Sergeant Hardney, Drill Sergeant Charles, Drill Sergeant Graham, and that first, I love all those guys. They fucking are just unbelievable leaders. Some of the best leaders.
You remember those names, right? How do I pick these names out?
I don't.
I can't remember a dude I seen last week. And now I'm picking names out of dudes that formed my young skull full of mush back in 1982. That's crazy, right? But they made a huge difference.
Impact.
Forstel, the first day, you're stressed. You had a couple days of build up, whatever. They march us in the heat. It's June in Kentucky. It's hot. Okay. Anyway, we get into this big briefing room, whatever, and it's hot, and like I'm falling asleep.
Oh shit!
And Forstel pulls me out, and he gets me outside. He goes, and he's talking to me. Do you know who that was? That's First Sergeant Peterson. You fought. He fought alongside God in Vietnam. And these are direct quotes. And he goes, "How many push-ups can you do?" I'm like, "I don't know, Drill Sergeant." Well, we're going to find out.
That's awesome.
We're going to find out how many push-ups you can do, stud. And I'm on my face, all day, and I'm like, this is a great start. Good job there, Moyer. Yeah, good. Way to go.
But it's such a fucking character. You think back, like, man, I'm glad I got my ass smoked up. I got my ass smoked up a few times, and I got my ass smoked up down the line when I became platoon guide for my platoon fucking up. And we still, I don't know if you did, and I'll say that out there. The first time I went through, yeah, we did have our drill sergeant. I remember Drill Sergeant Hardney saying this. And he went later to become commander of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. That's how disciplined this motherfucker. Nice. That dude was disciplined. And I admire him, but he looked like Satan. He was Satan, complete devil with the just tall African-American, tall black dude that I love to death. But that dude looked like Satan. I like, Jesus, I don't like, you scare the shit out of me, Drill Sergeant. But I remember when we couldn't get a guy to pass physical, we couldn't pass his PT. He was the only guy in the platoon that could. Towards the end, we're getting towards the end. You got to get past PTs. The physical training standards to graduate. Drill Sergeant Harney says, "We're done. We've done all you can. Now it's up to you guys." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "It's up to you guys to get this guy fucking squared away." And if you don't, it's on you guys. It's your ass. And this is
straight out of Full
Metal Jacket. It's like,
right?
It is. It's like, gee, okay. What do we do, Drill Sergeant? He goes, "I don't know. What do you do?" It's like, fuck. And I'm sitting there with the other squad leaders, and they're all these guys, and they all were studs. One went to become a XO at battalion. The other one became, I think he's still in the lieutenant colonel. Just tremendous guys. But it was literally, he was telling us, blanket party, or take this guy and you fix him up, you tool him up to make sure. And we did. I'm gonna lie, we fucking won. It's like, dude, you are fucking up this platoon, and we took him and we took turns tooling him up. In the back bathroom, because the drill sergeants left. They all took off. They're like, "We're leaving for the night. Take care of this," and they all left. And this was towards the end of basic training. And to say that, no, I'm proud. It's just something that at that time, it's like, man, dude, what do we do? I don't get what are they telling us, that we need to really tool this guy? And it wasn't that he was bleeding ever. It was a sheer intimidation to get him to work, to get him to bust his ass. And it worked. He fucking passed. Now down the line, we did actually become friends with this guy, and he did go to a unit. But at that time, that's what the military to me was like. You could never do that now. That would not happen. But this guy would have cost lives if we wouldn't have got him going, because they weren't going to kick him out. He was going to his unit regardless. And
there's too much of that. Nowadays, there's too much of how dog trainers do this. There's some dog trainers out there that purely positive training, right? There's no need to give the dog any titration. There's no need to verbally titration or, from the leash perspective, popping that dog. There's no need for it because we can just do this with purely positive training. Well, here's the thing. Your key moment, what you just said, well, there's lives being at stake here. So I need an 18-year-old, 19-year-old fire eater, right? And he needs to do what I say when I say, and you have to be able to be. He's like a high-powered dog. High-powered dogs need titration. Yeah. They need levels of titration, whether it comes from your mouth or it comes from a leash, a hand, whatever. Some of them need beat. I just do. And some young men, when they're being formed like that for a job, need to be.
The negative reinforcement and to tell to like 3 kids, really, we were kids. All of us were kids at the time. It was a difficult decision to make. It was like, what do we do? But we really felt that the onus, it wasn't no longer the drill sergeant's responsibility. It was like, okay, it's your guys' fucking responsibility because you guys are the one that are going to go downrange with this guy. I'm not. I'm going to stay here and train. Now, this is the drill sergeant talking to us, and really, it came across that way. And I am completely happy with what we did. I am. I would do it again in a heartbeat. I would. Now, to say that it turned us into these monsters killers that went out there and beat everybody that didn't do what we said. No, it didn't. It was that one time where we had to really have a train of conscience and be like, okay, how do we become good leaders here? And it's not necessarily you have to punch a guy in the mouth, but sometimes people need to be punched in the mouth. Sometimes but it was. You guys got to stop being easy and soft with sometimes, and you got to buck up and you got to get hard with people. And it did turn me into, I found a little hardness in my craw that I didn't have there. And I needed that because it did help me down the line. And it helped me when somebody was chewing my ass out as a private at battalion, getting spun up. But in today's society, and especially in the military, I don't know. I don't think they do that anymore. I don't think you could even come close to doing that anymore without having a complete incident and having it on Fox News or CNN.
Yeah, I don't know what. Who knows now? And even these kids got phones, and who knows what they record when. Well,
you can count phones at your damn basic training that are recording. So, but the moral of that story, guys, is that during those times, it was scary, and I can't even imagine in the 80s. Seriously. That's crazy. Vietnam drill instructors, hard as nails, but it did show because that's why you were a sergeant major in the unit. You're a tough son of a bitch, and guys still respect the hell, and you're still funny. That's what's awesome is you still are fucking kind of. Well, you're a little, but you still have that sense of humor. But you also are the switch. You can turn that switch on and be fucking all right, guys. Let's go fucking kick in some heads, and then turn that switch on.
When we do classes, I still do classes for military guys, law enforcement agents, but military guys, I'm going to speak in colorful metaphors. I'm going to be hard on you at the same time. I'm going to build you up. We're never going to end on a bad note. We're going to have fun and we're going to be hard. And that's the way it is. So it's the way it should be for me anyways.
Yeah. And that hit the nail on the head because speaking back to that gentleman in basic training, that's what we did. We tore him down that night, and then all of us took him out and we PT'd with him every day for the next 2 weeks. So it was really
firm but fair.
And I still remember, God, you just seeing the smile on his face when he graduated. It was like, okay, maybe we did do the right thing. I still didn't know at the time. Now looking back, definitely we did the right thing. I know we did, but at that time,
and there are stories though, and there's kids that can take it too far, and you got you as leaders too. As leaders back in the battalion back in the day, or maybe group. I don't know if group did stuff like this. They probably didn't like the battalion does, but you as a junior leader, you just can't strap on a corporal and a ranger tab and take somebody down to the laundry room, with a 2-quart canteen and their favorite CD and a towel and beat the crap out of them. You got to be smart, right? Yeah. And I ran into some kids that did some dumb stuff. Meet me in the laundry room with your dress greens on and a gas mask. Probably not the greatest idea. So
Tab.
Hey, you know what I wanted to ask you about though, just because you spoke about this earlier. You kind of gave the origin of the call sign Dutch. What was like the reasoning behind it though? There's got to be a story behind that somewhere.
Oh yeah. So John Spizzo, great friend of mine. works the Grit Athlete podcast, and he does leadership stuff all across the nation.
Yeah,
So
he's reached out to us.
Okay, cool. He's worked with major. I say major. He with NHL, and I don't know if he did any MLB teams, but I know he's worked with NHL teams before. He's a great guy. He was my platoon sergeant at the time, and his favorite movie was The Predator. You see where this is going, anyone? Yeah. And so me and another guy could imitate Schwarzenegger's voice pretty well. And the other guy,
got to do it for us now.
Sure, I'll do it. The other guy was better. He was way better at it. But when your platoon sergeant, and Chris knows this, and all you cats out there that know the Army know this. If a Ranger platoon sergeant tells you to do something, you do it. Yeah. So, and a platoon is 40 men strong. We're standing there, 40 men in formation, and Spiza would say, "Moyer, tell everyone to get to the chopper." And, at the position of attention, right? I'm like, "Get to the chopper!" And so Dutch is Schwarzenegger's nickname in the show, and Dutch, he just kept calling me Dutch all the time. And, so we'd have to just say, like, if it bleeds, you can kill it. We'd say all kind of stuff. He didn't kill you because you weren't armed, no sport. So we would say all kind of stuff like that. Anyways, long story short, when I make my jump to light speed and go to JSOC, they tell me, "You can't bring your nickname with you." I go, "I'm happy to be here. I don't care what you call me. I just want to be here,
bring your nickname.
Right, with the best possible people in the worst possible circumstances." That's where I want to be. I want to be with the best. But dudes that knew me before, that got there before, knew me as Dutch, and dudes that knew me as Dutch came after me. I'll tell you, when you mentioned tough son of a bitch, all right, I'll give you one. So in 99, I got there in 99. In 2000, we were prepping for a mission in Bosnia-Herzegovina for a PIFWIC mission, right? A PIFWIC, for you guys that don't know it, it's people indicted for war crimes. And we have this whole, we know where this guy is. We think we do. We think he's going to drive here. And so we're going to use a device that you put on your rifle. It's a one-shot device on your rifle. The Israelis designed it. It's called a Simon device. The Simon device was a standoff breaching tool. It was designed to be a standoff breaching tool. So you can stand 25 meters away from a door, shoot this device out of your rifle. You had to rechamber your rifle to go to work again. And then this device was like a hollow charged weapon, like a disc. It would fly into the door and blow the door up. So, standoff breaching device. Let's see how it works with a car. Okay, let's do that. And it was great. We never used it before, but it made complete sense. Hiding in the bushes, 25 meters away, shoot the car wheel or the motor with this Simon device. And oh, by the way, it worked. It worked just fine. Now, that being said, we take that knowledge and we go back up to the team room. We're prepping to go. And word comes down for my team. It's like, hey, look, if your team sees the vehicles, that means they've blown through the roadblocks and it's time to just eliminate everybody. I'm like, wow, that's easy. We'll just blow everybody up. Yeah, so what are we going to do? So we're going to go down range and we're going to test the same car we had before with Simon device, but this time we're going to shoot the A pillar or the B pillar to see what it does. We're going to put some targets inside the cab and see what it does to the thing. This was an old Lincoln Continental. This is a big old car. And so we go down there, we set it up. I shoot the Simon. It hits the A pillar, and it shears the door skin off of it and smashes me in the face.
Holy shit! How close were you?
I don't remember. we were probably 20 meters or so, but we weren't at a shallow enough angle.
Wow, that's still pretty far. Wow. Oh, wow.
And it comes back and smashes me in the face. I break my neck. I break my jaw. I lost 6 teeth.
That's okay. That's how I didn't know that's how you got it.
And so Simon became my nickname for a flash. Make total sense, right? No, these nicknames, most of the time, these nicknames come from stupid shit.
That's what I tell Ian. Do I not say that all the time? And you mean by that's called Chainsaw or Bloodsport? He gave himself his own fucking nickname, and it's because he thinks he's cool. Everybody back in the day,
or he cut himself with a chainsaw.
That's true. We say that.
So everybody try to call me Simon, and it just didn't stick. And it touched one out. So I'm okay with it.
I like Simon. That's pretty badass, though. How'd you get nicknamed Simon? I blew myself up.
If you knew where it came from, right, that makes it even more sense.
If not, you think of the Saturday Night Live Mike Myers character, right? Simon. They called me Simon.
Oh,
I like to
Hope you guys are enjoying this episode. We certainly enjoyed conducting it. We went really long, as you could probably see from the length of this episode, but it was a great interview. And you know, sometimes we go long when there's a lot of great stories.
He's a tremendous storyteller. He's just a great guy, gregarious guy.
Yeah.
And he's got, come on, he was, 28? Was it 26 years? I think it was 26 years. Is that he spent, but I mean, come on, he was Ranger, then he was at the unit, he was peacetime, then he was Global War on Terror, and then his experience with his troop and what he saw when I was in Benghazi. I mean, he was watching it all go down. I mean, he literally.
Which we'll get into, you know, because that's a little bit later on in the show. But it was a great interview.
Did I fuck that up? Do we need to redo it?
No, it's fine.
Sorry about that.
It's fine. I mean, that's what you guys have to look forward to. So, yeah, as we continue this, before we go any further, got to talk about Bubs Naturals. Bubs Naturals has been on with us for a long time. They give back 10% of all profits to the Glenn Doherty Memorial Foundation, which really helps out guys in the community, helps out families of special operations veterans. And as for the product itself, it's the best. Collagen protein, single sourced. And all their products are great, whether it's the apple cider vinegar gummies in terms of helping with cleansing, also helping with appetite control, their Fountain of Youth formula, their MCT oil. It's all just great product. We love what they do, and that's why we've been with them for a long time.
Hey guys, this stuff works. The best collagen protein in the world, let alone the U.S. Guys, it definitely has helped me and regain my healthy lifestyle. It really has. It's helped with my joints. It's helped with me putting muscle mass back on. And again, I preach to this because I get when you're going through ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, inflammatory bowel disease, how awful it is and how hard it is to stay healthy and keep weight on without having to take prednisone, which is terrible. You don't want to be on it. This stuff is the only protein, whether it's been collagen or whatever else, anything, that does not hurt my stomach and does not cause flare-ups. And just for that fact on its own, for all you inflammatory bowel disease havers, use it because it's going to help with your gut health. It's going to help rebuild your gut. It does. But also you're getting the protein and you're able to get out there and get a workout in because your joints aren't hurting anymore. Tremendous stuff, guys. Preach Bubs. And I'll always be on Bubs from here on out until I'm 6 feet under. Great company, great product, everything they have, and they give back to the Glenn Doherty Memorial Foundation, Bub, which in itself is tremendous as well.
Yeah, even if someone who doesn't have any condition, there's certain times I've taken whey protein and it definitely hasn't sat well with me. Not a good feeling. Never have those issues with Bubs Naturals. So bubsnaturals.com, promo code Battleline for 20% off. Once again, bubsnaturals.com, promo code Battleline. Also, I had to give a special shout out to Guns Coffee Freedom because of what I was about to do. I accidentally, in our first read at one point, referred to them as Coffee Guns Freedom. And I think the reason so is because they sell coffee. So I think.
Did you really? I didn't even catch that either.
Yeah. So I did have to tell them. I said, hey, I will mention you guys again and make sure that we get it right on the second episode that we do with Dutch. So Guns, Coffee, and Freedom, giving back one bag of coffee at a time. Guns, Coffee, and Freedom is a coffee and apparel company dedicated to giving back to the men and women in uniform who are willing to give so much for nothing in return. Founded by a former police officer, Guns, Coffee, and Freedom strives to provide our nation's heroes, whether law enforcement, military, or first responder, with the opportunity to strive after their time of service. Whether it is medical assistance, financial assistance, mental health help, special adaptive equipment, entrepreneurial opportunities, or just help transitioning out of service to civilian life, Guns, Coffee, and Freedom will aid in connecting you with the right charity or foundation specific to your needs. By partnering with other law enforcement and veteran-owned companies, they are able to stimulate small American business and give back by donating 20% of all sales quarterly to various military or law enforcement charities who are dedicated to the same principles that the company was founded on. Although time and service may be over, the promise of camaraderie and service to others will forever be the guiding light in what they do. Try a bag of their award-winning, veteran-roasted Moab, mother of all brews, dark roast coffee, which has all the flavor of a bold dark roast without the bitter aftertaste, or snag a super soft t-shirt or hoodie with designs aimed to show your dedication to the life you chose. Love their stuff, love their mugs, their apparel. It's all great and great coffee. So you guys got to check it out.
I'm a coffee connoisseur and I love that stuff. It is. I love dark roast too, but sometimes you do get those dark roasts that almost taste like they're burnt. It is that bitter taste and it doesn't have it. So I use an actual press, but you can use it in a drip as well. But the press, if you want to get the best taste of any coffee, but particularly their coffee, use a little press and sit on the deck on a Sunday and drink it and just enjoy yourself out there. It's tremendous stuff. And it is, again, tremendous company. And with his background in law enforcement, integrity. I believe his integrity is tremendous. And I know it is. And he also helps, and they give back to the 14th Hour Foundation. They give some of their earnings to us, to my foundations, which says a lot about his character as well. But product's fantastic, guys. Give it a try. And you will be extremely pleased with their coffee, especially that dark roast.
And I'm going to get the website address right this time. I actually have it written wrong. That's my mistake. So, guys, gunscoffeefreedom.com, gunscoffeefreedom.com. Go there now. Check it out. Now back to our interview. When you were talking about, the JSOC in 2000, did that then transfer to doing that work during the War on Terror in 2001, post 2001?
Yeah, so I was a pre 9/11 baby and a post 9/11 baby, so I got to see both. Now your question was, did it translate?
I was just wondering if that's what you went on to do, and I'd love to hear.
Were you part of the unit when GWAT started? Were you a unit? And you kept because before, but you were a unit prior to that as well. So your unit during Bosnia.
Yeah, I got there. I got there in '99.
I got you, 99. Got you.
And
did. I think the owners. I think the owners need some discipline.
I think people would love to hear some of those stories though of going.
I was
over
blessed to be there. First of all, right, I had a great career as a Ranger, a great career coming up. I was very fortunate and blessed to be there,
and to be one of the older guys over there.
I was an older guy, and it was funny because when I was doing, I'll give you another quick story. Yeah. When I was one of the last things you do in training before you can become part of the organization itself is a hand-to-hand combat, free-for-all, Lollapalooza, if you will.
Battle Royal, man. Battle Royal.
It's a battle royale. It's a really cool thing. And I was, and you're much better acquainted with the instructors now, and obviously the element itself has an air of ambiguity and casual speak. You don't. It's not the same as the Ranger Battalion where you're talking to everybody, Sergeant this and Sergeant that. Now it's Brian or dude, bro, how are you? And so I was talking to one of the senior instructors, and I said, I wanted to get his age and how long he'd been there. And he was younger than me, but he'd already been there for 10 years, and I'm like, oh man, or 7 years, whatever it was. But I was just thinking to myself, how far behind am I? I'm really far behind right now. But I think a lot of those things helped me. In the end, they were what they were. So I was either going to deal with it or I wasn't. I think, I wish I'd been there longer, of course, to have more longevity, but in the end, things worked out just fine. Now, I was also blessed to be part of the pre and then the post, because there was an evolution of warfare. There was an evolution of some of the things that we did. Most of the men that were pre had never killed people face to face. They just didn't.
The mission did. It wasn't that they couldn't. It's just the mission didn't require them.
Some of the old timers, maybe Panama or Grenada, just like maybe you saw in Ranger Battalion, same kind of thing. But most of the guys, through a period of time, there was no real close quarter battle. There was a lot of training.
Sure.
But there wasn't really a lot of that stuff. So anyway, some of the training did evolve. Instead of doing 4 shots to the chest and a paper target, maybe you did 2 to the body, 2 to the head, or maybe you did straight to the face. Because we started doing that and started seeing, well, guess what? I'm going to stop the electricity right now.
Yeah.
There's no need. I'm a decent enough shooter. And oh, by the way, we shoot a lot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're good shooters. So why not just take that instead of shooting people in the easy chest? Let's start.
What do you think? Because when we started doing it, is it just because it was an easier? Is that why? And my opinion is it was just an easier shot. But I agree. Like when we train now, and
you mean the
chest shots, or
of course it's an easy.
And is that why
the A zone, right? It's the A zone. It's the IPSC A zone, right? Yeah, it's an easy shot. It is. But then when you're dealing with people that have armor, but not that we did a lot, but this stops the electricity. Right. And if you're using, look at the evolution of ammunition too, Ian. So now, now better units use better ammunition. Before, what was the what was it?
Just were you talking about the green tip? Just the
it was 855. So it was 855.
It was a 55
green.
55 grain is all it was. It was just
we didn't use 55, but go back to the 855. So almost everybody used 855. 855 was even today, right? If you go shopping for 5.56 ammunition, 855 is easy to find. I don't know how many rounds they made of that crap,
tons,
but they make a lot of it. Plus, it's got the steel core penetrator inside. It's not made for zapping people. It really isn't. And so if you don't get this A zone, if you're stressed or whatever, you don't get exactly the A zone, that projectile may be going, right? It may be going through and not doing the damage that it needs to do. But I assure you, 855 in the face stops the electricity. And so that didn't matter. Even at 35 meters away and you have a target moving from left to right and you shoot this guy in the body somewhere, it can go straight through there, no problem. And he can make his way to the cache. He can make his way to the RPG, the PKM or whatever, and then do your friend some damage. So we had an evolution of ammunition. A lot of guys were using the 77 grain open tip match, which was way better. And now it's evolved into 70 grain Barnes.
Okay.
So the triple shock Barnes, which most people can find on the open market today, it's a little different, I think, for the top units, but the Barnes ammunition was the key.
Wow.
So, different close quarter battle ammunition. So that was, I hope that answered.
No, that's perfect because not just the tactics, but just the equipment, what improved and why, because the unit is what everybody bases their stuff on. It doesn't, I don't care who you are. Maybe Dev Greer will say something different, but honestly, if you're a Ranger, what's the unit using? All right, let's start. So you are the example, you are the guinea pigs, and then you are also the validation of what everybody else is going to do.
Completely.
So that's why I asked, because you're going to see it first. I'll see it when it trickles down, but you see it first, and you guys are making the decision. The Delta unit is making the decision on what's good and what's not, and everybody else is pretty much. I don't think I've ever seen any unit say, "Well, the unit's using that, but that sucks, so we're not going to do that." I've never seen that.
Let's go to camouflage for an example.
Oh, it's this. Can I just put on G? I mean, it's like Jesus. I think I'm just gonna
cry. Can I get raw?
Yeah, get
here?
raw.
Cry precision. Cry precision. Caleb Cry and those cats.
Go ahead, man.
Said here's a camouflage that we think you should use. So we test this camouflage over and over. My friends, my personal friends, tested this camouflage and wrote a big report to everybody that's a big head and said, this is the best camouflage going on for all these different environments.
Okay.
And what did the Army say?
Oh, no, because now it becomes, because later becomes contracts. It becomes
because bureaucracy, right? Yep. Politicians and bureaucracies and money and lawyers and judges run the whole world. So all of a sudden the Army went to this really crappy camouflage. What did they call that?
Was it digital? Was it DCUs? Was it DCUs first? I mean, it switched it's just like 4 times.
They didn't call it DCUs though, right?
It was called whatever the. I know what you're talking.
Military combat uniform, the MCUs, whatever it was called.
Yeah, was that it?
Totally horrible. Everybody wore that,
and it was shit.
You wore it in the desert. You wore it in the urban environments. What are you, an idiot? But now what? Now what do they have?
Honestly, as far as
they have cry precision, bro.
Is that what they're using? I mean,
back to multi-cap.
I just throw on, honestly, when I got out, I wore jeans and fucking found a local shirt. I mean, that's what I was wearing. I'm like, fuck all this. I'm just wearing, what are they wearing? Well, he's fucking wearing.
Yeah, but if you're in the big green machine,
you got to wear. Is it Cry that they got now? Cry, and they finally.
What? It's not Cry. So I think there's a controversy over that too. it is multicam type of camouflage, and everybody's wearing it. So
they copied Cry, but they didn't want to paint.
I think they ripped off Cry, but
shocker.
Cry's not crying for money. I think he's not hurting.
No, he's good. But go ahead. Go ahead, Ian.
You know what I was going to say is just when you were talking about these changes in pre 9/11, post 9/11. I think the interesting thing to say for yourself though, when you're talking about your age, although you don't look your age genuinely, is
you really doesn't.
You kind of are an anomaly. I would say almost all the guys your age who served in special operations, you'll hear all these stories of I wish I could have been there during 9/11, would have loved to have fought in the war on terror. You're really probably one of the last guys of that age group who got to be.
And you got to be in Bosnia, and you got the peacetime as. I mean, there's very many.
I never got to Bosnia.
I'm sorry. You blew your face up before. I got you. Okay. Well, anyway, but you were still during that whole entire time. There's a lot of guys that didn't get many that didn't get how many years? And
there's a lot of cats. I tell you what, though, it's funny, and I appreciate you saying that. Really, and I'm not trying to. There's a lot of cats that have. I got like 10 combat deployments. I have like 12 combat deployments, but 10 were really the working. Yeah. I got to be on the first. The first excursion in Afghanistan, the first fight back. I mean, that's to me very important to me, and I'm certainly proud of those moments and proud of the guys I was with, and able to. The towers came down September 11th. Our first strike back was October 17th. It
was quick.
And so when you see the movie Horse Soldiers, and they say they're the first, well. Not really, but
they're the first known. They're the first, and the ODA.
But I'm okay with it. But no, my point is, there are dudes that I know that have like 26 combat deployments, 24. Probably even more than that. It's crazy because they were Rangers beforehand,
and
then they made their way up, and then man, they have a deployment after deployment after deployment, and it just, I mean, my heart goes out to them and their families and how difficult it is. I knew how difficult it was for the people around me to stay around me. So it's just, that's different.
Well,
very different.
And as someone with your experience, I'm just wondering, someone with your experience, when we see the withdrawal from Afghanistan now, yesterday, Chris and I recorded a podcast, since we're recording this in advance, talked about the Ukraine situation. I'm just wondering, someone who's done as much as you have for as many decades, what do you think of the trajectory of everything, whether it's the hasty withdrawal and now looking to go into other regions and possibly destabilize another country, a much bigger country, as Chris noted on the last show?
It's a great question. I searched out Dan Holloway and the Drinking Bros guys, and I said, dude, I want to talk about post 9/11 because here it is, just last September, all of a sudden, my birthday, and I remember September 11th, obviously, like it's yesterday, and I was the first guys. I was one of the first, units to go into Afghanistan, and now all of a sudden, on September 11th, they're letting the Taliban have Afghanistan. That is such a crushing blow to any kind of real American foreign policy it was insanity, right? It's insane. Now there's more to be uncovered in this whole Ukraine thing. Yeah. This whole Ukraine thing is just, it smells bad. It looks bad. It is bad. Ukraine's not a democracy by any means. I'm not a big fan of helping out Ukraine with boots on the ground, no-fly zones. I think that's all totally ridiculous. We're going to get into World War III. If we start flying F-15s over there and F-16s and 35s or whatever we fly and zap MiG-29s, that's World War III, bro. Yeah. That's totally ridiculous. And then let's go all the way back to this conversation in the beginning. Leadership is what makes this crap happen right now, and it's bad leadership. It's been poor leadership from the beginning. I've been so amazed at the horrible leadership that I've seen from the very beginning of this administration to right now. I can't even imagine what it's going to be like 2 years from now. I don't think the midterms can really stop everything that's happening. There is a steamroll effect that's going to it's going to hurt. It's hurting everyone. It's hurting your kids. It's hurting my kids. Yeah. It's hurting us, sure, but I'm worried about my kids. Well, what kind of republic are they going to have? Because America is not a democracy, by the way. It's a republic, and people don't know that either. They need to be reminded of it. But I'm afraid for them, completely concerned for them, and and it's a funny thing. I'm going to Poland very soon, and I don't know. Wonder if I'm going to see some friends of mine in the 82nd Airborne that I trained. But I'm going to go over there and I'm going to train some guys and I'm going to hang out and see what it's like.
Awesome.
And but God bless America, man. I'm very disappointed in the lack of leadership, lack of commonsensical, sound leadership that has brought us to these points in geopolitical.
Well, it is common sense. It is. I equate it back. I said yesterday, the administration and right now the president, he's acting like a bully. What he's doing, and he's doing a lot of talking. He's acting like that insecure bully that just lost. Hey, you did when they invaded Ukraine, brother. It's done. It's done. You lost it. There's no getting that back. It's done. Now you're going to go out there and talk a lot of crap and say, hey, we're going to overthrow you. It's like that guy that wants to fight you. And he did, and he said that. Ian's my fact. Ian knows. Saying that, hey, we need to over.
You say, well, I don't know if you saw yesterday. I thought with the this will be old news by the time people hear it, but I think it was is it Peter Ducey the one who asked? I don't.
Ducey, but a woman before Ducey asked him the same questions. Yeah, so today's
and he said, I never said that, and they're like,
it's on camera.
But you said it.
Yeah. I mean,
it's the problem with it.
It's like that dude at the bar talking shit. I'm going to kick your ass, and then when somebody finally calls the bluff. Okay, now what do we do? And he is talking shit right now, but this talking shit is going to get us into World War III. I try to explain to you, this isn't like we're going into and overthrowing Iraq or invading Iraq or taking out Saddam or taking out Gaddafi or influencing in Egypt. This is a global power with more nukes than we have. You just don't go. You can't threaten this guy because. Yeah, we might win, and we probably would a sustained fight, a conventional fight. We would. You can see because of their inability to even have the beans and bullets just to invade a country right next to him. But he's got that button that just says, "Okay, push it." World War III, it's on. And Iraq didn't have that. Syria didn't have that. Libya didn't have that. Yemen didn't have that. And that's why I said you don't start talking shit out there and saying you're going to overthrow some dictator that's probably wired a little bit too tight as well, and think that there's not going to be repercussions. But you're right. What's affecting? It's going to affect my 17-year-old son. I would be honored if he says, "Yeah, Dad, I want to join the Army and go in the Ranger Battalion." But to say that I want him to go there right now, I really don't. No, not right now. But I wouldn't tell him no. I wouldn't say no. Don't do it. Granted, he doesn't. He wants to work for the CIA. Thanks for that. That's, but still, it's like, Dad. That's another story. But anyway, I completely agree with you on this because
as a whole,
it is that we got to do that second podcast about dating. You got your experiences too, I'm sure. But it is. I completely agree with you. It's just
tell him to steer away from that.
I am doing my best to stay neutral at this time because he still has 4 years of college and maybe he'll figure it out. Maybe you figure, but bro, that's your words and your views because of your experience, of course, both peacetime, but also your ranking that you got up to. You got to see a little bit you got to see behind the curtain, dude. You may sergeant major. So you saw
one of the things I worry about, Chris. One of the things, Ian and Chris, when the Afghanistan debacle happened, I wondered how many sergeant majors were walking in the hallway going, "You're wrong."
Do you think they were? Do you think they were just?
I don't. I don't.
Why do you think that? Now? What happened to that?
I think it because so many people are worried about the NCOER and the OER 1 block. That's what I think. Now, again, I don't know this to be true, and it's not fair for me to say it didn't happen. But I have friends that are commissioned officers of higher level and non-commissioned officers of high level. I hope that I'm completely wrong, but I didn't hear about a lot of anger. I didn't hear a lot about, you hear some, some lieutenant commander or lieutenant colonel from the Marines who got, who he was very open about it. Where were the hardcore non-commissioned officers?
Support, you're right. Yeah, you completely out of sight, out of mind. That's terrible about us in America, but that's true. You're right. No senior NCO came to his defense. And you would think that they were the ones that would have started it to begin with, and he would have come to their defense. And you're exactly right.
Let me tell you a story. You may remember this date because it was September 11th in 2012. You may remember that date.
Yeah, I have a recollection. Yeah.
So I'm in
that.
I was alerted.
Yes, I remember.
This particular day. You were there. I wasn't. And then I go. So then they asked me part of the National Mission Force gets alerted and sent there, or sent somewhere close to you, and then I have to. I'm on my way out the Army, so I'm leaving on in 13. I'm leaving. Well, I left in May 13, so this is September. So I'm not far away from going. So I'm non-deployable. Blah blah blah. So somebody asks me to fill a job, and I fill a job at the higher headquarters. And in that moment, my friend, I'm at the higher headquarters, and someone says, a higher ranking commission officer says to me, or says openly, I hope this guy with the video gets busted, because this whole video guy is he caused everything. And in the position that I was in, Chris, the position I was in is a no talking position. Yeah. I was a conduit of information between my boss and this guy's boss. And that's all I was. And here though, I turned around to him and I said, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? I said, this got nothing to do with nothing. I said, if this was long before any pundit ever said anything, one thing about a video guy or whatever else, I said, that's crazy talk. I said, first of all, we live in a free country. That's number one. And two, I said, why are you even giving the enemy any more excuses than he already has? Or can we stop talking about this video guy? Can we stop talking? This is not anything to do with it. And so here I was, though, E9 taking a chance because I was on the verge of getting out anyway. But I wonder to myself sometimes if I would have been so vociferous if I had, been gaining a troop or something later on. I don't know, but I like to think I would be, but I was not happy.
And so. This thing on the show we hadn't got to your troop or your former troop was the one that I knew we knew they were moving initially, and then it just went dark. So, because I remember Boone coming to say, hey, he detachment Delta's on its way. And then he walked back. This was right around 2 a.m. in the morning. It was after our first counterattack at our place. And he come up to me 10 minutes later. He came back and he said, no, they're not coming now. It's like, okay, well, what happened? And then
I could tell you they were there.
Let's get into that though, because I think just having you to talk about that is huge, because there's still people who believe in the actual conspiracy that there was no one in the region. I think just having you to say that means a lot.
So Mike Glover's talked about this too, right? He was part of a SIF element that was closer to start.
And that's the SIF guys, the Commanders and Extremist Force. Those guys actually were the ambassadors. There was detail. When I was in Tripoli, they were actually his PSD unit, that 10 Special Forces group, that the SIF team. And this is what people don't. I don't know why we never talk about it. They had actually, when the ambassador was coming from Benghazi, they just moved them. The Department of Defense, SecDef, Panetta at the time, and whoever else, they took him away from the ambassador and they put them over in Croatia. So when they came over, me and Roan, we're sitting in there. We're thinking we're going home because we're supposed to go home. Roan comes up and he's talking to all of us. He's like, hey, yeah, the ambassador's coming over. We're like, oh, whoop-de-doo. Another diplomat. I mean, ambassador's a great guy, but 10 years working around diplomats, I could give a shit who it is. I don't care who you are. But it's like, okay, well, I want to go home. He's like, well, he's coming over with nobody but 2 State Department guys. And I'm like, where the fuck is 10th? Why aren't they moving? He's like, they're not in country. It's like, why the fuck are they not in country? That's his PSD.
They weren't in country, but they were closer. They moved to
Spain. They actually had moved him, and then they did get on a bird, and they actually repositioned him to a forward base as soon as the attack happened. And then again, it went dark from them, because that's when Boone come over and says, hey, SIF's coming. After he said Delta, it was like a thing for the next 2 hours. He came over to me 10th, and then he come back. No, they're not coming. Then he come, hey, the MEU. We had a MEU in the Mediterranean. We had a fast company in the Mediterranean, one in the Red Sea. He said, hey, my boys are coming, because Boone was a state platoon. He was sniper. He's like, and they come out, they're not moving. And I finally stopped him like, dude, I go, you're breaking my fucking heart. Don't tell me anymore. I said, if it ain't, this is why we did put the Domino's Pizza thing in the movie, because I said, I did have a reference to it. I said, if it ain't Domino's Pizza, brother, I don't want to know anymore. You're breaking my heart. And it's just, you got to find some humor in it all, because it just seems so ludicrous when you think that we're Americans, we're working with a top tier agency, we're doing shit that we probably shouldn't be doing, but we're there under the auspice of the commander in chief and the secretary of state and SecDef and the speaker of the house and John McCain. We're there because they want us there to move these weapons and to do whatever else. We got units all over the place. They want to come. The 555th Fighter Wing, we knew they were getting ready to. We called them, and they're down the road in Aviano. And then it all go dark. It was like, fuck, this is
people would come to me and say, I'm so disgusted we couldn't do anything. And I said, no, don't ever think we couldn't.
We could.
I said, we wouldn't. I said, those guys were hung out to dry, and those guys were hung out to dry because someone would not do it. Now, I said, I tell you what, dude, I was in Beirut years later, and the guy, I'm driving around a guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. I'm driving around a guy, and he says, "Do you really think that the SecDef and the POTUS had something to do with that?" I said, "Dude, if I'm trying to fire a missile at that guy, the HVT guy, that we have to get approval. Yeah. You have to get approval. Somebody asked his approval." And either he went back to bed, or he said, "Don't bother me," or he said, "No." I said, this was never a case of couldn't do it. This was a case of wouldn't
do it. And because of the effects of politics and bureaucracy, yes, because of what we were doing there. Well, people seem to also forget he had just said terrorists were on the run. Al Qaeda's on the run. We got him on the corner. It just 2 weeks earlier. That's part of it. JV team. Yeah, JV. But we were moving weapons. There were weapons because we were destabilizing. You know what we're doing, and we're just destabilizing regions, this and that here. Just sorry, guys, I'm laughing because he's yelling at the dog. It's hilarious. I wish we had video right now.
Yeah, he's muting it. But you guys don't hear it.
During that time frame, we were destabilizing region after region after region. I mean, and then I go back to Yemen, and I'm part of that quagmire where the Marines are throwing their bolts out of their guns so we can just did him out of that. And we leave billions of dollars worth of stuff there to get out of Sana'a, which that was a hell of an experience within itself as well, going back. But guys, for all that, Dutch is one of the first guys that, to me, that actually came to me at least. And he says, "Hey, I know what happened." And then he told me who he was. And I really appreciated that, because at that time, people were that were still in or just ETS'd out. They were too afraid to talk to us because they didn't know the big brothers. Look, Dutch was the first one. And he said, "Hey man, I know what happened. I'm sorry." I remember I remember you apologizing, and I mean, he said, "Dude, it was not your fault," because I knew the boys were coming. It just got shut down midstream, and that's a haunting feeling to know everybody's coming, and then not even to get a word that nobody's coming, except from Boone. Boone was kind of just guessing. Everything just went dark. It's like crickets. Like, what the fuck? The world is coming, and then it just stopped.
It's tragic.
It is, but I that's why I because he took a chance to even, I think one of the first guys even took a chance to even just come up to me and say, "Hey, dude, sorry. I know you are sorry." And that meant the world to me. Actually, I think it was at the Max. It was during some show, and I don't know if you saw me. I walked back and I almost lost it. I was gonna cry for everybody, but I was like, because it made me feel like, well, that made me feel good. It was like, fuck. But that's all right. Okay, enough dick sucking, Sergeant Major. Knock that shit off. All right, stop it. You're gonna make me cry on audio.
Make me ill.
But yeah, on your experience going forward, you did it, and I said now you're one of the premier instructors, and we're gonna get you and Dave. I'm getting you out here to Fort Scott, and you guys are gonna put on a class for these guys out. We're gonna happen. But how did you transition? And it probably was an extremely easy transition, but
No, I still haven't. I don't think.
But so what you finished? You had a great career within the Army, of course, tremendous career. What happened, and how did you just get into instructing, or did you just say, this is what I'm going to do, or did you just kind of just?
No, it's good, valid questions, and it's part of my story, I guess, too. And I'll start it by saying a dude just wrote me just the other day and said, "Hey, I heard this was kind of the life. It was, PT and shooting and climbing or driving, and that's not if you're preparing for war." And I said, "You're pretty much right." And I said, I missed it dearly. If I could go back, I would. I was in Alexander City, Alabama, just recently teaching a bunch of SWAT guys, and then some open enrollment students right after that. And somebody said, "Do you miss it?" And I said, "You have no idea how much I miss it." So, and I'm jaded. Now I'm jaded too, because when you're part of it, I was part of that organization since 99 to 13. So almost 12 years in total, where almost everyone wants to do a great job, where almost everyone to a person, whether it's the cook or the woman who helps you with your law,
that helps with I'd say support the finance people, the
HRT folks, human resource. Yeah, I mean it's everyone, right? That's why they comb and pick through people to be. They're getting
the best of the best in every arena. It's best of the best.
You really do, and I'm jaded. So I'm jaded in that respect. When I left, I really didn't think that I was ever going to carry a rifle with me again. I said, there's a blues artist I really, really like a lot. His name's Joe Bonamassa. If your people have never heard of Joe Bonamassa, he's from Utica, New York. He's probably one of the greatest guitar players alive still, arguably one of the best blues guitar player ever. And
I'm a big Eddie Trunk listener, and Eddie still has him on all the time.
I love me some Joe, but he has a song called Black Lung Heartache, and it's really the story is about a guy who's coal mining. And he carries his hammer. He quotes this. It carries his hammer like keys to a jail.
Carrying the hammers like keys to a jail.
And so, to me, for 29 years, I carried my rifle like that, sort of like keys to jail. This is my life. This is all my life. My rifle and my pistol. Especially in the last large amount of time of my life, 26 years, was my life. And I thought, I'm never going to do this again. So I decided, and I have a love for off-roading machines and stuff, I decided I was going to open up an off-road shop. And I partnered with a guy who had 180 acres, and we did off-roading, and we built trucks and cars and ATVs. And I took my Ford Raptor that I poured $160,000 into to off-road events. And, I learned my lesson, though. If you want to make $2 million, if you want to make $1 million in that industry, you got to start off with $2 million. That's how it works. And
it must have been a fun departure, though, to do something
I had a great time. I lost a lot of money. I spent a lot of money. I learned my lessons a lot of different ways. And then that's when one of Chris's guys comes down and says, "Hey, I have this opportunity." Well, I first got out of the Army too, and I was an armor salesman. I basically designed and made armor for Diamondback Tactical.
Oh, shit.
That doesn't exist anymore. All the pieces from Diamondback were in Spindale, North Carolina. Tier Tactical rebought those, so Jason Beck has those all in Peoria. And Tier is a great company, and I actually work with them. So, long story short, your guy came and said, any one of you cats interested in being a direct hire contractor, to go to Erbil or to go to Sulaymaniyah or to go to Yemen or to go to Beirut? And I said, yeah, I'm in. So I carried my rifle around like keys to a jail again. And now I just branched out into open enrollment. But I focus on law enforcement, military, but I do a lot of open enrollment. And this is my first year. This year was my first year that I sat down with a partner of mine and made a year calendar and said, this is where we're going to be. And yeah, it's nice and all, but I'm already contacting people and saying, canceling that course, canceling that one.
I've learned that the hard way with Battleline and stuff. It's hard because you can't schedule a year out because especially if you're an entrepreneur and you're doing other things, something will pop up. And it's hard to do that.
They do, and I think that we did a pretty good job. But it's funny when, like, I'm at the sawmill.
Okay. Yeah.
My shameless plug just for this 1 second is I'm at the sawmill with a hand-to-hand combat guy named Jason Kelly, and we're going to do a bunch of CQB and hand-to-hand combat with law enforcement agents. But no one signed up, and it's come on, you got to sign up. But I understand everything is expensive, ammo's expensive, gasoline's expensive to travel. I don't know exactly what's happening other than this show will help me obviously get more exposure, and anytime I work with you guys will be more exposure. But I think that's what's happening really is just it's a little bits at a time. I go back to Joe Bonamassa again. When he first started, he didn't have a label, right? He didn't have a sponsorship label, and his first concerts had like 7 people in it.
Well, it doesn't help that I think the firearms industry is being targeted on anything that you advertise on, whether it's Facebook or Instagram. If there's a gun, it's just not going to get monetized, or you're not going to see what you should. It kind of sucks. But you know what I'm wondering with the way that you described that with the lyric, do you at this point enjoy firearms instruction? Because it sounds like early on, this was a chore. This wasn't something you really wanted to do. You would have rather been doing off-road.
Well, so his chore is his life, right? So that in the song lyric, right? His chore is his life. He carries around like keys to a jail because that's his life. But I love teaching people. I love giving back, especially military law enforcement and selected Americans. I love talking to people and saying, "Hey, I like meeting people. I'm gregarious. I'm amenable."
No, you're not. You're
together.
Reserved, dude. You are an introvert.
Man.
Fucking A. Look at you.
Come on, man.
What do you find more fulfilling? Because teaching open enrollment, getting the new people in there and introducing them to the community and the 2A community, or going and teaching somebody who's like a law enforcement or doing military that has held guns. I'll be honest, my opinion, I enjoy teaching the new person a lot more because they just soak it up. Not that I don't enjoy teaching tactical law enforcement, teaching SWAT, teaching anything, but I really do enjoy bringing new people in the community, just seeing their face light up when they lose the fear of a gun, of a firearm. But what
I like that, and I love your question because there's challenges in both. Yeah. There really is. There's challenges in both. I recently had a student, and the rifle was too heavy, and I'm like, I can't help you. I can't help you. But I had a law enforcement guy a while back, and I'm asking him to do a couple of things, and he said, "Hey man, 30 years, man." And I said, "Yeah, but your shot group is like this. I need your shot group to be like this." And I said, "If you listen to me, I may be able to help you."
Look at you. And you're being professional. Man. You're not fucking. That's all.
There's challenges in both. There's challenges in both ways.
You're spot on, brother. I hit the nail on the head. You get the person that doesn't want to learn because they know everything. But then you're right. Then you see the shot group, and that's standing still. That's not even moving to a position. That's just static shooting. That's just.
Once you start, it's static shooting. Once you start the static thing, and I'm trooping the line, talking to people, and I sing my song pretty much the whole time. I talk about silence, sure. I picture your grip, and blah blah blah. Shooters ready up. I'm back and forth, and then I see this guy, holding his gun like this or something, and I'm like, then I just stand next to him and said, "Keep in mind, everybody, when you're doing this and that," but I'm saying it all to him, and I keep going on and on. It still doesn't change anything,
Like I could.
Fine. Horse, sure. Water.
You get a drink,
man.
What's your most, I say favorite story? What's your best experience up to this point as an instructor, though? Where have you man, I walked off the day of 2 days of training, 3 days a day of training, and man, that person, wow. I have mine and it's usually from that person that's never shot before. Then you're like, holy crap, that was fulfilling.
I think I hope I can sum up that with 2 stories.
Oh yeah,
Can you hear me okay?
Go ahead.
Yeah,
do
absolutely.
It,
you're good.
It sounded like it was gone or something. So, one, there's a couple different places in the country that I'm a repeat offender, and I love the folks from Terre Haute, Indiana.
Awesome.
I teach the SWAT guys there, and I can't wait to go back again. Love them. Anyways, and also with guys in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. I go back to that small community on occasion. And then when I was in San Marcos, Texas, at the TTPOA like 3 years ago, maybe 4.
Okay.
I can't remember. And a buddy of mine calls me and says, hey, you might want to call this guy because he just had a shoot. And I said, okay, he's all good? Yeah, he goes, yeah, he's good to go. Give him a buzz. So I called him, and he goes, Dutch, it happened just like you said it would. Dutch, the training went, the moment in time went just like training. We did exactly what you said.
That's awesome.
I zapped the bad guy. He's dead. We're alive. I'm like, I'm getting goose flesh right now underneath this shirt. But I'm telling you, that's all I need to hear. That's it. That's all I need to hear. If what I can teach you can save your life, I'm a happy
awesome.
fellow.
That's awesome.
Going back to a civilian, when I do the ball and dummy drill as a civilian, I call it self-discovery for a pistol, and they don't understand it. When they get it, they understand that they're moving the gun over and over again while they're pulling the trigger. I love that part of the self-discovery when they go, oh, yeah, I know what you're saying now. Or when a shooter who's not as physically capable, maybe with a pistol, then we switch to rifle, and I'm like, hey, and they're worried. I never shot this rifle. I just bought it, and I said, listen, you're going to be amazed how much better you are with a rifle than you are with a pistol. Yeah. And, to a regular audience, I'll say something, off the cuff, like any bozo can shoot a rifle, right? But guess what? Rifles are easy to shoot, man. And then this person had a great shot group and was like, wow, I can really shoot this rifle. Yes, you can.
Just the confidence. You see their confidence come. It's like, wow. And that's what I said. The rifle is just more forgiving. It's just for you. It is easier. From closer distances on out, that longer barrel, it's going to stay tighter. The bolt's going to fly straighter. It's just more forgiving. And it's not going to, I told you, it's not going to kick. It's not going to, it's going to kick. No, I guarantee you, your little 365 is going to kick more than your AR-15 that you're shooting. Right. And I feel the same way. It's like they get in there and it gets their confidence up. Then when I go back to pistol, they have more confidence, and actually their pistol improves a bit because now they're not scared of screwing up. Like, I don't even know what it is.
Maybe I should start with rifle. Most of the time I start
actually with I still start with pistol first too. In fact, class coming. Now you're doing. It's just I'll come back at the end of the day and I'll say, grab your pistol. Let's take it out and shoot it now. And they'll take it out and they'll press and they'll get 3 or 4 good shots, and I'm like, good to go, guys. Because then it's the end of the day, they can retire like Barry Sanders at the top of their game instead of the whole day where you guys will get tired out, and you can be even good shooters when they start to get fatigued or they just, I'm done with the range today. You mentally check out. Your shot.
Oh yeah, that's
so that's why I do it at the end of the day with the pistols, because they'll get 2 or 3 good shots. And you can leave them on a high note because it's the end of the day. You've already done all the day a rifle. Now we're just taking them out on their own. All right, let's see your confidence. And I stand there, get your grip right, get your sight picture. Remember the fundamentals. Got it. Stance looks good. All right, press that trigger a bit, and you'll 2 or 3. And I'll do chest. I'm not going to go up here yet. It's awesome. They'll 2 or 3 good shots, and see, you can do it. Now you just need to do this 1,000 more times. Now get off my range. Don't ever come out. But so I adhere, and I say everybody needs to go train with you. They need to go, and they need the dynamic aspect of it, because Rangers unit guys, especially unit guys that were Rangers at one, they understand that dynamic is how it's going to be. They understand that before you even start to shoot, you're going to have to move to a position. You don't just to get it, whether it's 30 miles or 20 feet, and then you're going to have to engage. And I loved your adage about the head. I do the same thing. And I learned that from not even from battalion. It was from the agency. It was headshots, prefrontal cortex lobe. Put that thing in that little fucking gearbox. And every drill that we do, it was, we're going to shoot down here. Fuck no. You're shooting the head. There's only 2 of you. What do you think you're getting a sustained gunfight? No, you shoot the head. And I
pop the electric.
It is. And it's wonderful that you said it. It validates that maybe I'm doing something right every once in a while. That's just, I
right.
But this has been a solid interview, man. I was just, we talked about a lot of things. This is the type of show where we learned a lot. I mean, we talked Ranger indoctrination.
We haven't. I got one. Any story in doc. I want one Ranger in doc story, because we didn't really get to a specific story. Like So before we go, because can we hold you about 10 more minutes? A little bit long.
All right. All
right.
I'm in for another hour, but I might have to break out some whiskey or something.
But when we get the studio done and we start doing videos, we'll start doing whiskey. But I want to do you have an in-doc story? Anything that just craziness that everybody has something, or even a holdover story, or you weren't recycled, right? You went straight through, right? Is that, or were you holdover first?
So I did rip twice. I want to say
what you said earlier. Yeah.
So I didn't say I don't think I said it earlier. You go back.
Basic training you did twice. Okay. Basic training you did.
Yeah, that's.
I didn't know you did rip twice. No, what happened, man?
Yeah. So the 5 mile run. So this is my horrible story at the 5 mile run.
So you're the opposite of Chris, who's a great runner.
So I passed the 5 mile run. Okay. It was very hot in Fort Benning at the time, and what do you do when you grab a fallout?
You circle back. You go back and pick him up. Yeah.
And this dude, I think his name was Dixon. I think his name was Dixon. He was badass. And we go back and get. Now we're way past 5 miles, bro.
Yeah.
You know, we're all still together. Yep. And he is crushing us. And somewhere in there, I lost my mind. So I started. I was a heat casualty. And 109 degree core temperature, 107, 109. It was bad. I woke up though. I was fighting people. I remember fighting people, and then I woke up in a cold bath, and then I woke up in the ambulance, and then I woke up in the hospital room. That's all. That's really how I remember any of it. And so I had to be recycled because of that. But that now, you know what? I'm sorry. That was pre-ranger.
That was pre-ranger. Okay.
Yeah. That was a pre-ranger. Yeah, that was pre-ranger. So a rip class. I was, you'll laugh. Maybe you won't. Maybe whatever. I was actually the honor grad at RIP.
The second time I went through, I was too. I was too.
I went to RIP once. I just did one. Ranger pre-ranger twice.
Okay.
Okay.
That's where I screwed up.
You're screwing up your own.
Well, he's 77. Cut him a fucking slack, dude. Give him some slack, man.
I don't remember a whole lot of real crazy stories in RIP. I remember berating the dudes and saying trust but verify. I was using Ronald Reagan stuff. You know, the kids probably didn't know who Ronald Reagan was. Leaving RIP though, and then getting the battalion. This will dovetail. I think I loved Ranger history. I like military history anyway. If you look at my page, it'll say follow military history and stuff, and I talk about military history all the time. So I really dig it. I read it, I study it, blah blah blah. And the 3 new kids that go to 2nd Platoon BCO 175, they're all getting smoked in the hallway, right? We're getting smoked. We're counting we're doing the starburst and counting the tiles and all that stuff you do. You're getting smoked. And while they're smoking us, they're asking us Ranger history questions.
You're good. You're fucking.
I remember them all, and I'm older, so my body's better. I am more calm or something. I don't know whatever it was. And Sergeant Micah Kyle, he's listening to all the E4 tabs smoke us, right? And he comes out and he goes, "What's your name?" I said, Moyer, Chris Moyer, whatever it is. How come you know all the answers to the questions? I'm like, now I'm confused, right? Because I listened in school.
You feel like Forrest Gump because you told me to?
Told me to? I don't know, because they told me to. Yeah, pretty much. And then we did some more getting smoked, and he goes, how old are you? And I'm like, I'm 27 or whatever it was. And he goes, come in here. So I let all the smoke, the guys got smoked, continued to. He brought me into his room and started interviewing me about my past history. And they found out that I was a soldier once before. And it was funny how that all worked out. But I love the Ranger history, man. So of course, I was lucky to know
it. That's awesome. At Ranger School, we didn't even we're going to have him on again because we didn't even talk about Ranger School. And there's always Ranger School fun stuff.
There's one really good story in Ranger School.
Okay, we want to save
it, or
you want to tell right now?
What do you want to do? Leave the people
Are you gonna have me a month later? Or are you gonna have me?
Honestly, we'll probably.
You never know, man.
Well, no,
it's so tough with how many guests we have.
We usually go.
Well, I'll tell you, and you can always edit it. Hey,
all right, tell a story.
Whatever you want to do.
Then we'll go.
And we all know I got back to the Ranger Battalion. I went through RIP.
Yep.
No, was not an import. I went through all the hoops that normal kids do. A young E4 tab, E4 untabbed. But now, so because of my longevity, I was going to be an E5.
Yeah.
But I wasn't proven,
tabbed yet.
right?
Yeah.
Nor did I go to Ranger School. And hey, look, if you don't know this out there, you want to stay a leader in the Ranger Battalion, you have to go through the Army's premier leadership school, which is Ranger School, period. You have to. Otherwise, you can't stay. And so Spizo, again, was my platoon sergeant, and John C. Reed was the first sergeant. And somewhere in there, they made me go to the board.
Before you're tabbed. Before you have your tab. Oh, wow.
Correct. But I'm just going to the board. So I go to the board, and they're like, okay, we want you to be a leader here, so we're going to send you to pre-ranger. So they sent me to pre-ranger in the winter time. I wasn't promoted yet. I went to and I failed the 15-meter swim.
Holy shit. And we just had, who do you have?
We broke ice to get into the water. It was horrible. And I was honestly, and again, self-deprecation. I was a poor swimmer back then. I'm not a great swimmer now, but I'm way better than I was. But anyways, so I finally fixed that. But before I do, now my promotion is due.
So what
do they do?
You can't promote.
So they promote me
to sergeant?
Oh, yeah. So I'm a sergeant in 175 BCO as an 11 series with no tab.
Oh,
no one wanted to shake my hand.
No way.
No, people would come right up to me and go walk away. They'd come up and walk away. They'd do the line and they walk away. Now, as we continue the story, so now I finally make pre-ranger and I'm going to ranger school. Now, the back then, right?
Yeah.
We don't now what where they put rank here?
At ranger school?
No. Back in the day, no, sorry. Nowadays, rank is in your chest.
Yeah,
right?
It's no longer up on your collar. It's right here.
Yeah, so it was up on my collar, and the square, right? It's fabric, and when you go to ranger school, you take all your rank off.
But you can see. You can see the faded rank. Yep.
So, and the faded sergeant square is bigger than specialist and PFC and blah blah. Yeah. So here I am. I'm in the mountains, and this ranger instructor looks at me and he goes, "Are you?" I was doing one of the patrols or whatever, and he goes, "What are you, a communicator?" I said, "No, sergeant." And he goes, "You're a medic." I go, "No, sergeant." He did a small pause. He goes, "Oh, you're him. you're the one." I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm the one." Yeah, it's me, bro. I'm the guy. I'm the guy that got hired before he got the test.
Because you knew your platoon sergeant or somebody that had gone through that knew one of those RIs was calling you out, saying this guy has to pass. If he fucks up, let me know because we're bringing him back. And you knew you didn't even know it that you were on the hot seat.
If I didn't pass, I was going to get fired.
You're down the road, man. You're going.
Yeah, there's no way.
So, that's an awesome story to end on. No, that is an awesome story to end on because fucking A, dude.
I'm like, you're the one. I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy's going to smoke me every day. I'm doomed. I'm doomed. No, they treated me fair.
That's awesome.
So.
Well, this was definitely a great show. I mean, indicative of the fact that this does happen sometimes where we say, hey, we're going to wrap up.
And we just keep going. Sorry.
Because it was great. A lot of great stories. So if you want to get trained by one of the best out there, at Dutch Chris Moyer Actual on Instagram, DutchChrisMoyer.com. All of those links are in the description. As always, guys, support our sponsors. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. That really helps us out. And within the next week or so, I think we're going to have video going. And we got to have Dutch back so you can see, even at he looks extremely good for his age. And thank you so much. Hey, 5-star reviews. If you guys are watching this thing and listening to this thing on Apple, 5-star review. And if you don't do a 5-star review, because for yourself, because you really thought it was good, just help us as men massage our ego. 5-star review. Please do. It really does help. Helps everybody out, man. 5-star review. The thing is, as I kind of said, Instagram and Facebook, they've been limiting everything, but it's like I go on Apple, and if we get enough reviews, people discover us. They listen to the Team House or Mike Ritland's podcast or any of those shows out there, and then they'll come across us and they'll discover us. Or, there's so many. Clint Emerson's Escape This Podcast. And we need more people discovering us. It's important. So leave us those.
And when you get your started, Dutch, you get your started list. I know I'd be honored to come on it, man. So just tell it.
In a heart. And because we got plenty to talk.
Oh, dude, and we do. We need to start. I've been thinking about this real heavy. The training side of house, starting this. I don't know what we'd want to call it, the syndicate. Having Battleline and Dave's group, Hyde and yours, and doing something where you're training with all of us, maybe at different venues. Maybe we come together and do a group one, but then, hey, this is, and if you sign up to do the syndicate training, you're getting a discount, but you're going here, then you're going to see Dutch, and then here's mine. And I think that I've been trying to brainstorm it, how to do it, but I haven't figured it out yet.
So what did Sawmill just had the gunfighter experience, so they bring like 3 instructors together to create what they call the gunfighter experience or whatever. I'm do the syndicate experience or whatever you want to call it.
Gunfighter.
Yeah, man,
I call it gunfighter. I have some of my courses are called I call them gunfighter. It's their gunfighter course, and that's the dynamic movement courses. But there's a way to do it. I just haven't figured it out. But I know you have a spot down here, and I'll tell the guys at Fort Scott, and especially at Fort Defense at their range, bro, they would love to have you come down here and teach a course. So I'll get them to Ryan and I want Dave's guy, because Tim over there. I love that kid, man. I love the young ranger that works with Dave over there.
I love the travel. I just got a new truck.
It's on his way, man.
Now I'm going to get a trailer and I'm going to put some steel in there, because I know so many ranges I go to locally, they don't have the steel that I want. So I'm going to get a partnership with Grizzly out there or somebody and get some steel ready to go.
Well, tell me, you shoot me a text, whatever you want me to promote, shoot me a text what you want, and I'll get it out on my stories. Just, you tell me, just text it to me and it's gone, dude. I'll get it out on my Instagram.
Awesome, bro. Careful with what you wish for.
I'm going to help you out. I have been very blessed with what took place. Again, and you made a world of difference in a time when people were really scared to talk to me, and it made me feel, I just got me more angry. It really did. And it's like fuck, and it, not just because you said it, but because of who you were then and who you are now. But it's like, he knew what was going on, and he actually campus. So thanks, buddy. So whatever you need, but text me so I can get it, and I'll help you out if you want. And Battleline will help you out as well. All right.
Cool. Thanks,
all right, brother. Take care, Dutch.
Thanks, fellas.
That's all for this episode of the Battleline podcast, but we'll be back on Monday with more American Straight Talk. Until then, be sure to follow us on Instagram at Battleline Podcast and on Twitter at Battleline Pod. To sign up for future Battleline tactical courses, go to www.christantoperanto.net. Believe in yourself, face all challenges head on, and as always, never quit.